Hi, we are going to talk about how to solve compound inequalities that consist of three parts. So just a reminder, conjunction is something that's connected by and, but sometimes there are inequalities that are going to look like this. So what does this tell you? It tells you that on one hand, x is going to be greater than or equal to -1, but at the same time, you want x to be less than 3. So x is kind of like going to be trapped between -1 and 3. So what do we have here? At -1, we're going to have a closed circle because it's less than or equal to, and at 3 we're going to have an open circle, and the solution here is going to be what's going to lie between them two. Okay? There is another way to write this, the same exact inequality that you see here. You can write it as -1 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than 3. This is exactly the same thing I demonstrated in the beginning. This would be the first inequality, this will be the second inequality. Okay, and then you can solve it, and you will see after solving that in traditional way, then this is what's going to happen. Okay, and as an interval notation, this is going to be -1 to 3, closed at -1, open at 3. Okay, so that's how it works. Alright, let's take a look at another example. So here we have something that requires a step. Now I want you to notice the variable is only in the middle part. So, and basically the way we're going to handle it is we're going to do a step to the middle part where we are going to make x by itself. So what do we do here? I hope you can realize that we're going to do -1. But if we're going to do, if we're going to subtract 1 in the middle, we're going to subtract 1 on the right, and we're going to subtract 1 on the left. This will give us -1 minus 1 is -2, less than x, less than or equal to 4. And if you remember what I just explained, this is going to be a value of x that's going to be trapped between -2 and +4. So open at -2, closed at 4, and we are going to shade the part that's between them. Okay, and that's going to be our graph, and the interval notation here is going to be -2 is going to be open, so it has parentheses, and 4 will be closed, so it's going to have a bracket. This one here, we're going to divide by 2, dividing by a positive number, so nothing's going to happen with the symbols of the inequality. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Whatever you do to the middle, you're going to do the same exact thing to the left and the right. So that's going to end up giving us what? 2 less than or equal to x less than 5. So 2 right here, it's going to be closed. 5 is going to be open. And in this format, this is going to be the part that's in between the two. So right there is going to be our solution when we graph it. And with the interval notation, this is going to be from 2, it's going to be closed because of the closed circle, so bracket, and 5, which is going to be open. Can they be both open and both closed? Yeah, absolutely. That just depends on the symbols that your problem has. Okay, moving on. This one, okay, so here we're going to have to do a bit more work, because it's not just 2x or x minus 1, it's 2x minus 1. So first we're going to have to leave x by itself. We're going to start by adding 1, just like we do traditionally with basic inequalities. This is going to give us -2 less than 2x less than 10. Right, now we're going to divide by 2. It's a positive number, so we don't have to worry about the signs. So -1 less than x less than 5. So they're both going to be open. Here's -1. Here is 5. We're going to shade in between because that's what it means. And with interval notation, this is going to be open -1, comma, 5, also open. Just like I mentioned a minute before, you can have a situation when they're both open. There, moving on. Okay, this looks a little intimidating, but we can do it step by step and we'll be fine. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to subtract 1. Right? That's going to give us 3. It's less than 3/2 x less than or equal to 12. So typically when we have a fraction, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal of that fraction. So we're going to multiply by 2/3. So times 2/3 times 2/3 and times 2/3. Alright, so you multiply 3 by 2/3, that's going to give you 2. Multiply 3/2 by 2/3, that's going to give you 1. We're going to be left with x. Multiply 12 by 2/3, that is going to give us 8. So less than or equal to 8. Okay, so from 2 to 8, open at 2, closed at 8. And we are going to shade the part between them. And that's our graph. And using interval notation, we can see that it's going to be from 2 to 8. This one's going to be closed because of the sign. Okay, that's how it's done. I hope this helps. See you next time.